the element selection tool, or the power selector. This tool is right here in your main toolbar. You can grab it here and bring up the element selection tool, or you can also go to your construction toolbar and get it right here, and brings up that element selection tool. Now there's a few different modes and also methods that are through here. At the top you have your methods, and down below here you have your modes. First one is individual, which will individually select an item. Next one is a block, where you can place a block around items that are out there. Next one is a shape, where you can go through there and create a shape around the item that you want to select. Next one is a circle, and then a line if you want to place a line through some items that you want to select. Then you have your modes down below here. New will actually create a new selection set whenever you try to make another selection set that's out there. And we'll kind of demonstrate that here in a little bit. The add will add to a selection set. Of course, the minus will subtract. Invert, that is whenever you have some items that are selected and you want to invert it, you can invert that selection set. And then also select all, which will select everything inside the DGN file. This right here is your handles, where you can disable handles, which we're going to go ahead and leave it checked on, and we'll kind of show you what that does here in a second. So just to kind of demonstrate this at first, I'm going to leave my method set to individual and my mode set to new. And if I go out here and I select an item, it's one of these trees, I'll zoom in just a little bit, you'll notice that it's selected, it's highlighted. And also down below here you'll see that I have one item selected, where I have my mouse at right now. Now if I go through here and select another item, since my mode is set to new, it actually removes the previous selection set and gives me a new selection set, which is this one right here. So I have this one now selected. Now if I wanted to do multiple ones using the new method, I can come over here and if I have this one here selected, and let's say I want to grab maybe a few of these other ones right here to maybe delete them for this example. If you hold your control key down on your keyboard and select another item, you can actually add to that selection set as long as you have your control key held down. And then once you let go of your control key, you have those items selected. Now you can go through here and use your delete tool to delete them, copy tool to copy them, or move, or whatever tool, whatever operation that you're wanting to do. And I have 5 items selected. Now if I need to remove a selection set, let's say I have these items that are selected and I want to, in that operation that I'm doing, and want to kill the selection set that I have, all you have to do is left click out on the screen somewhere to remove that selection set. Now I don't have anything selected, and you can tell that down below here also. Also, using the method set to individual and mode set to new, you can create a box around some items that you want to select also. So if I come through here and I hold my left mouse button down, like where I'm at right now, and I drag a box, making sure I have my left mouse button held down, I can actually grab everything that's inside this box. So if I let go now, you'll notice that everything inside that box is contained. It's added to the selection set. I'm going to go ahead and remove this selection set, so I'm going to left click out on the screen somewhere. So that's kind of another method that you can do. Next one that I'm going to do, I'm going to change my mode to plus. I'm going to leave my individual method set. If I come over here now and I left click on one of my items, it's added to the selection set. Now if I want to keep going, since I have my mode set to plus now, I don't have to hold my control key down. I can just go through here and select the items that I want to add to my selection set, just like what I'm doing right now. If I want to remove one from the selection set, if I have some items that are selected and I have the wrong one selected, I could go to my subtract, select that item that's selected, and it will take it away from that selection set. So that's what the subtract does. It takes it away from that selection set, those items that you have highlighted. Now, using these two modes right here, actually these through here, if you want to remove a selection set, you can't just left click on the screen somewhere. It won't allow you to do that. Two ways you can do it to remove that selection set. You can either go back to the new mode and left click on the screen somewhere to remove that selection set, or I'll go ahead and have some items that are selected again. Or if you want to remove a selection set and not go back to the new method, you do have this option right here that says clear or select all. If there's no items that are selected, this icon right here will toggle it to do a select all. But since we have items that are selected, now that toggle changes to clear, where we can clear out a selection set. So if I click on this button right here, now it'll clear out my selection set. Zoom out a little bit. Let's change our method from individual to block. I'll leave my mode set to plus. This here allows me to create a block around the items that I want to select. So let's say I would just want to select these trees right here. All I have to do is get a little bit above it, left click once, drag it out, and you notice that there's a box being created. And I'll left click again. Everything that's inside this box will be added, so I left click again to accept it. And everything that's contained totally inside that box will be added to my selection set. So that's another way you can select items. I'm going to go ahead and clear it out. Now you notice this time whenever I use my block method, I went from the left to right. Left to right. And everything that's totally inside this box will be added to the selection set. Now if I went the other direction, if I went from right to left, I start over here and drag it across, you see that my box now, the outside shell of that box has changed from a solid line to a dashed line. And what this indicates is this mode has actually kind of changed. It's changed from everything that's inside, totally inside the box, now to everything that's inside the box plus going through that box. So if I were to left click now to accept this, not only is it going to grab those trees, it's going to grab these two lines right here, because it actually sees that those lines are going through it, and it's going to grab those items also. So that's kind of another method that's inside there. I'm going to go ahead and clear out my selection set. Now, if you did go from right to left or left to right, and you're defining your box and you want to change it on the fly, you can do that also. So if I come in here and let's say I went from the right side and I'm dragging over to the left, and I want to change it to my other mode without ending the operation, if you click your shift key on your keyboard, it'll actually toggle it to its other mode, just like what I'm doing right now. So that's what that does. If you hit the shift key, it'll toggle it to the other mode, and then you can define the box that you want to create the selection set, and you're off and running. I'm going to go ahead and clear out my selection set. The next one is the shape. So if I change my mode to shape, this is where I can come in here and create a shape around the items that I want to select. So let's say I want to select this pipe, the two flared end sections, and the rock on the end of the flared end sections. I can do that. I have my mode set to plus, and what you can just do is go through here, and you notice that I'm going from right to left, so my box here is dashed. Let's say I want to switch it to just grab everything that's just inside the box. I can hit my shift key again, and you'll notice that's going to toggle it to the solid line style. So it's just going to grab everything that's inside of it and not going through it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and define my shape. I'll get close to the very beginning. You'll see that it's going to kind of highlight. and now it grabs everything that's inside that shape that you defined. So that's what the shape does. I'll go ahead and clear out my selection set. Next one is a circle, which this one here just defines a circle around the items that you want to select. So if you left click once, you'll see that everything inside that circle will be selected once you left click to drop it off. So that's another method also if you want to utilize that. And then the last one is your line method. If you click on line, and you just want to go through here and draw a line across the item that you want to select, you can do that. So let's say I want to select this center line, edge of pavement, edge of shoulder. All I need to do is just get a little bit above that particular line. So I'll left click once. You'll notice the construction line is being created. And once I left click again, everything that line goes through will be selected or highlighted. And now you have those items selected. Now you can do whatever operation that you want to do to them, whether it's delete, move, copy, scale, and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out my selection set. One thing that I didn't mention at first here is your handles. Normally we have them disabled, and the reason for that, I'll show you this on one of these cells here for these trees. I'm going to go ahead and change my method back to individual. And I select one of these, you'll notice that it highlights. And that's all it does. It highlights it and selects it. But if you enable the handles, you're going to see that you have these handles here that you can actually grab that item and scale it up or scale it down depending on how you want to do it. Normally we don't quite do that operation here at MoDOT, but that's what the handles do. It allows you to grab an item by a certain point, depending on what it is, whether it's a line or a cell or so forth. It allows you to scale them up, down, stretch it, and so forth. Because if I grab it by one of these points right here, actually it kept it proportional, but that's what the handles do. But normally we have that toggle checked off, that way you don't accidentally scale something up that doesn't need to be scaled. I'm going to go ahead and clear out my selection set. Another one that you do have also, go back to the tool, you do have the invert. So let's say I come in here for the example, and I'll go through here and I'll just select these trees here. And maybe I want to come in here and I subtract out a couple of them. Then I want to invert that selection. Instead of these being highlighted, I want these other ones to be highlighted, but these right here to be not selected. Well, if you click on this invert, and I'm just going to use the block method for this example, and I'll create a block around these items, you'll see that my selection set gets inverted. The ones that were selected are not selected anymore. The ones that weren't are selected now. So that's what that one does. And I'll go ahead and clear out my selection set again. Of course, this last one right here is the select all, or the clear if you have items that are selected. If we don't have anything selected, this one here will do a select all, which will select everything inside this file. So if I select it right now, you'll notice that everything inside this file gets selected. But you'll notice that this border right here does not get selected. That is because that this geometry for this border is actually contained inside of another file. This is a reference file. If I go to my reference dialog box, you'll notice that this geometry right here actually resides inside this file that's referenced somewhere else. Okay? And right now it's being displayed, so if I uncheck it, you'll see that it goes away. I'll turn it back on, and it's there. So, like I said, the element selection tool, whenever you do a select all, it's going to grab everything that's totally inside this file, not the stuff that's referenced in from another file. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out my selection set. and that's the element selection tool.